Here we go. Enough of us rambling on. It's going to be the round going live.
It is indeed. So one set of utility over on these 5Power guys. There's the smoke over to Xbox from Cabal. Looks like they're going to be making their way up catwalk pretty quickly while Shuadapai puts a little bit of pressure on Long. And he's actually found his way out Long. But Tyloo very much centralizing now and looking to fight this middle control.
Yeah, that's got to hurt 10-10. He's going to stick around. Yes, his attacker is there as well. Attacker not showing himself. The bait is great, but he just finds one kill. He needed to find at least a double for that to work on out. And this is going to be really hard indeed. It's a 3v4. Excurate is very low indeed. And have a player towards long. So it's going to be the long plant coming in, a safe plant coming out from Xiao Sage. And the two players coming from short, one from CT. They do have a kit on Fancy, but I take his name. And Fancy will be found out by Xiao Sage. 2v4, and this is going to be almost an impossible retake here.
Going to be very difficult. They can't really get the kit from CT. They're getting tagged up right and left. Honestly, I don't mind the approach from Tyloo to just hold on to these armors. Because into the next round, you know, that's 650 less that you have to spend, and particularly if you want to force, that's a nice pick for somebody to get. That's going to put another $300 in his bank account, but good little pistol from 5Power. Winning the duels against Tyloo, who are trying to take fights on them when they're coming up catwalk.
Well, 5Power, map pick, and they will get off on the right foot. 1-0. Still very, very early days. Tyloo, you know, a team who have been used to being in rough spots when they have had to mount comebacks. And that's one thing I've noticed about Tyloo recently is how they will have a horrendous first half and has somehow managed to claw back all the way to double digits, but then finally not able to close things out.
And that was kind of their problem sometimes in the major, where, you know, they would have a good half on one half in particular and then not really be able to string it together, just like you said. They've gone for the force buy over on the side of Tyloo. It looks like after a little bit of a peek and maybe some shots towards long, they are going to go back towards this short control. 5Power just waiting for any kind of a nade or any kind of an info towards long to see if Tyloo's in this area of the map. They're just going to creep out together and take some longer range duels with these rifles. I like this approach from 5Power. It's a good, nice little anti-eco. The problem being, obviously, is that Excurate can hit a couple shots consecutively. This could definitely ruin their day.
Excurate missing what one would have thought was an easy shot there, and he in turn gets tagged on down. They know there's a scout there. They can neutralize it. Flashbang to pop on. It's actually smoke and a flash. Not really find anything. Excurate spots ahead, but not able to react in time. Smoke is going to come in, but he's trapped behind the flames tickling his feet. He's stuck inside a smoke. 24 points of health. What can he do? He's sticking inside a smoke. They haven't spotted him out yet. He's playing a very patient game while Benton with his CZ. He's doing a bit of damage, and Excurate still hiding in the smoke. There's a bomb getting planted right in front of him, but he can't see the player. And finally, he is going to get taken down. Excurate doing his best to stay alive, but in the end, he can't get anything done. And for 5Power, they have all 5 players alive here, although these scouts is being a problem. Summer gets 1 kill, Xiao Sage to fall. Shuadapai will be the second casualty for them. He can actually do a little bit more damage with Adobe with a nice off angle, but a beautiful shot from somebody. Good reaction from him, and he is still being a thorn here. And 5Power, despite winning this round, are taking a bit of economic damage here.
They are, and I thought that somebody was going to get away with that rifle, but Cabal punishes him for trying to run away towards middle there. Great damage there for Tyloo, but they're not able to win the force buy. Excurate hit a couple more scout headshots or just scout shots in general while they're coming up long. That would have been a lot easier for Tyloo to come away with that one. But let's face it, the odds of winning a force buy like that are going to take some pretty ridiculous circumstances in the first place. So they're just going to take a save and head into the next round. I don't mind the approach of them taking the force because they probably want to lean back on the AWPs heading into the next round. Utility obviously very important on a map like Dust2. In the past, it might not have needed to be essential, but nowadays you definitely need all the utilities to be able to run your long control on the CT side, stop that B rush, maybe potentially go and take some catwalk control, etc., etc.
I really like what 5Power did there. Almost a textbook approach. They had the MAC-10 in the hands of Xiao Sage. They sent him up towards long. He cleared it out, and they were about to actually make a play towards B. And the second he found the A bomb that was completely empty, you can see the rotation taking place immediately.
Good old money man.
Good old money man, you know, good old scout, so to speak, and he has managed to ensure that 5Power will not be walking into that stack as Tyloo. It's a full eco. They have no investment whatsoever into this round. It's pretty much a throwaway round for these guys. All the bench are looking to get a free frag, but Xiao Sage, this man is not stopping anytime soon. He is looking to get the dirty SMG money. Attacker with the USP will reply back, find Shuadapai, but just to one player, and I think that AK, yeah, it won't get salvaged, but that's all right. That's all good.
So here's Tyloo's first chance to get back into the game here. Want to see if they're going to singular AWP or just double. They are going to double straight off the bat, despite the fact that it's a glass cannon for Fancy.
And for Execute.
And for Execute as well, you are correct. So in the meta at the moment, it's pretty common for the double AWP and the utility to be an absolute fact of life on Dust2. Love the approach from 5Power though, a very, very quick mid to beat after they wait out some of this utility. At the same time as putting some pressure on Catwalk with some nades from Dobu, and then going back towards this B tunnel could definitely throw these Tyloo players off guard. No utility to be able to stop this rush. Somebody has to multi-frag.
And he will indeed. Oh, no, he doesn't. He almost gets a second kill, though, and Fancy with the AWP. Oh, he looks the wrong way. Xiaosage with the jumping Macton. Some are not expecting Xiaosage to get to platform so very quickly. And with the lack of utility they have, and the fact that none of these other three players have any kits, they're going to be heading for the hills. And that's going to be the first round going... Sorry, the fourth round, and also the first actual gun round going the way of 5Power.
It is indeed, and it feels like Tyloo's kind of lacking this killer instinct at the moment in this game in particular. They're kind of coming into it a bit slow. Like you said, Tyloo's really good at getting these slow starts and then grinding back into the game and trying to do their best to do so. So we're going to have to see them do it again.
Interesting how 5Power, the way they went fast mid, it was very reminiscent of a couple of teams to do that nowadays. And not just a couple, quite a few number of teams. When you know that the CTs are going to go for the buy, usually the CTs will send up 3 guys towards long, try to get long control, and leave just 1 guy at B, maybe 1 guy at mid or short. And the fast mid approach, I think, is a very good idea where you can kind of bifurcate that CD side defense and hit that B bomb side, go for the Prince play early on. They didn't necessarily go for that, but yeah, when they went for that play, there were just 2 players in the B bomb side, actually just 1 player in the B bomb side, and 5Power had no problem taking it. And right now, I'm really enjoying this approach. They haven't really made any mistakes. They're hitting the shots. They're being very, I wouldn't say too overtly aggressive, but being very confident in the way they're approaching their T side here.
Yeah, it is good to see, but at the same time, they haven't really been tested by Tyloo just yet. So, although they do have the dream start, and again, Shuadapai with just a little bit of utility expended from 5Power, only like 3 flashbangs, gets him out long and gets him the opening pick on Tyloo. They're in a 4-on-5 situation. They've lost long control. They're getting pressured on middle. They're all split up on completely different angles.
Dobu. Oh, that should never have happened. Summer not able to save his teammate. Benta does reply back, still the man with the M4 runs out of bullets, not able to quite land the final bullet he needed to find Viva. And that is going to be the A bomb side compromise. They might just have to go for this here. They just can't keep saving forever. Somebody in Fancy is going to be a max loss bonus anyway. So they could potentially go for the safety if they want to. But a 2v3, this is still a winnable round for Tyloo.
Somebody's making his way up Catwalk. He's really going to be the key player. He gets blocked off by Molly, but of course he holds W straight through it. Hits the dink on South Sage as well, and Fancy has a big chance to win this one here, Blair.
He's going to do it.
It's creeping up. Bomb's going down.
Oh no, he doesn't quite get a jumping shot, and Schwaderpai there to save the day. Look at the health, combined of 21 HP on his last 2 players, but 5Power will make it 5-0. Yes, they've suffered some casualties, but look at the bank they've built up here, Pelly. 10,000, 11,000 for Xiaosage, 6K for Viva and Dobu and Schwaderpai, and Cabal's the only one that's kind of low on cash, but when the rest of the team have so much money, this is crazy. 3 AKs, he times it to perfection, and somebody's so lucky to escape with his life there.
Definitely is, and Tyloo, their money's not the most fantastic. They still don't have all the utilities that they could possibly need. The main talking point in this round in particular is the AWP on Execute, and he's playing passively with it towards that long area and A site, so they're not really looking for the frags, and the entire time, this game, it hasn't really felt like Tyloo's gone aggressive and tried to actually get in the face of 5Power and win the game. They're sitting back, they're waiting for 5Power to come to them, they're allowing 5Power to do whatever they want on their map pick on their T side, and 5Power's just running all over them, Blair.
This reminds me, not reminds me, I'm sorry, this kind of could be the influence of Jonta coming into the team, right? Like, although Jonta, the ex-coach of Hellraisers, and if you look at the way Hellraisers played when he was the coach, they weren't exactly known for being super passive. They were an aggressive team, but he might have some certain protocols, a certain style that he wants Tyloo to play, and you can obviously, obviously when you have someone like Jonta being hiding in your org, you would be looking to listen to what he has. So it is a little uncharacteristic to what we've expected from Tyloo, at least last year, but from what I've seen of them, at least in the first quarter of 2019, this has been kind of the style they've been going with, a little bit more passive approach on the CD side, relying on, oh my lord, Dobu. just like shuts me up and shuts down Benton as well at the same time. What a shot.
It is a bit of a one and done angle from Bentet though. Like this setup is so weird. It feels like 5Power, they're just walking out wherever they wanted, taking one-on-one aim duels, and they're the much sharper
Where
team
was Fancy
right
looking
now.
at, by the way?
I don't know, man. Like, at the moment, it feels like Tyloo, they're not trying to win this game. They're kind of just playing not to lose. They have guys who are just sitting on ankles and trying to find some frags by themselves. It's not really any kind of crossfire setups, not any kind of, how do I really say this? It doesn't look like a standard sort of approach that you'd used to be seeing. It's kind of just feels like Tyloo. They're going through the motions and they're like, yeah, you know, we have Counter-Strike open. I'm moving my mouse in combination with my keyboard, but am I really trying to go out there and win this game right now?
Yeah, which is surprising. Some people might say it is 5Power's map pick, but at the same time, I've seen Tyloo play Dust2. It's not like they can't play the map. It's
towards the lower end of their pool, in my opinion. Like Tyloo, let's be real, Blair. Like they're a great team. But with this new lineup and as of late, they have a very shaky map pool. Like, how many maps can they really play to a high level?
Inferno,
like
Mirage,
two, maybe three. Yeah. It's like even Overpass is a bit shaky. Dust2, you know, once you get to Dust2, that's up and down all the time. And past that, let's not even talk about Train and Nuke and Cash.
Yeah, Nuke's never going to be played, let's be honest about it. But 6-0 here for 5Power, as we have pretty much an eco coming out for the players. They have equalized the money out, so more like a money equalizing round here. 2K an average on everyone with max loss bonus, so we'll be able to go for a full-fledged buy the next time around. They do, however, have the AWP in the hands of Xcurate, who has been very quiet. Bentet, smoke out, and the CZ from Attacker. It finds 2 quick kills. Could this actually work on? He picks up an AK-47 as well, and he knows his buy, but there does tag a little bit of bullets. Look at Bentet just running in, picking up the gun. So that's 2 AKs picked up, and all of a sudden, Tyloo, off the back of not exactly a full-fledged buy, might be able to steal this round away from 5Power.
They may do so, and 5Power, they're trying to make their way out middle and consolidate this round over towards the B bomb site, and Bentet's ready on the off angle. He has no armor. And as soon as he hears this smoke come in, he could potentially find the timing through it. Especially in a 3-on-3 situation, it's not the worst thing in the world to be going through that smoke when the mid to B comes out, Blair.
Indeed it is, and Cabal ready to find Bentet, but Xcurate drops down towards near CD spawn, finds one frag. Somebody has not budged yet. Dobu trying to fake out something, trying to find something. Spots out a player, goes for the spray, but somebody's there for the immediate trade. Viva not able to land it. Somebody just flicks around and takes his head clean off his shoulders, and just like that, Tyloo, off the back of a double kill by Attacker, up close with the CZ, they make it work.
They do indeed, and that's going to put a big amount of cash in the bank of the CT economy. They're going to go straight back into the double AWP. 5Power still have a fair bit of money to lean back on after that 6-round lead, and what a convincing 6 rounds it was. Not many of them had casualties in terms of dropping the guns over, so they've been very responsible with their money. Tyloo, they're going to send Attacker over towards that long area and allow him to get control of that while they rotate Bentet in towards CT. Going to have Xcurate holding on to Catwalk just from that A side, and in comes the mid pressure from 5Power.
Bentet with perfect timing. Summer gets a frag, trade comes in, but man advantage has been wrested by Tyloo here. As finally, we can see the aggression and somebody finally getting up to what he does best. Pushing in like a madman, and he bombs out. Cabal gets the frag, he's down to 5 HP, but a bomb is at his feet, and that's going to be a problem. Viva's going to push in to try and retrieve the C4. And the B bomb site's compromised, though, but this is very smart from somebody. He allows the bomb to be picked up, but look at the rest of them coming in. Now, what does Viva do? He has to push in through the tunnels. Attacker finds Schwaderpie, and Viva, he's just walking up, and he gets dinked down by somebody. He's all alone, 1 HP versus 3. He's going to walk on up from the smoke, even does a bit of damage to an Attacker, but Attacker a little bit of overkill there with the headshot, but he makes it work. But the thing for 5Power is, Pilly, they've built up so much of bank that they can still buy in despite losing 2 in a row.
They still can, and that was a great timing for somebody to push. He can just tell how many 5Power players are over towards Catwalk and middle, that it's very likely that they've left B tunnels open, or there's maybe one player in there that he can try to take that one-on-one duel with, and a huge amount of information. Especially when they're pressuring middle like that and you lose the middle control. You don't want to get stuck in between a rock and a hard place over towards that B bomb site, getting split on while your opponents are smoked off in CT spawn. 5Power this round in particular, though, they just throw the smoke on Catwalk and then make their way up there. And Attacker, he's found full control over here towards the long doors. So it's the onus is really going to be on Benjet next year to hold down this cat execute that seems to be coming out for 5Power. There's the progression smoke and the one-way smoke into CP spawn. Benjet drops his smoke, but that's not really going to stop them from making their way up catwalk right now. Attacker does get tagged up a little bit as he tried to go for the push towards top middle and gets repelled away there by Cabal. 5Power, they did actually slow down, but it looks like they're ready to set up this execute again. Question really being, how many picks can Execute get himself before these players make their way onto the bomb site, and how effective is the flashbang that Execute and Bentet have? Attacker even has one that he can throw over towards catwalk. Love this from Execute, expends the Molotov, and he's going to walk up on the angle.
He does slowly creep up. It is going to be an A hit. 30 seconds. Smoke comes in again. And extra, this is high risk. Super high risk. Find one. Can he find more? This is the flip shot. He finds to take it down. Hyper aggression from him getting punished, but Benkett's still there. The elimination got it. He finds 2 quick kills with the spray. Summer in the meantime joining the party. Solid shot. He can only find 1, and can Bentett pick up the off? Yes, he can. And that is going to be Tyloo. Despite Extra just getting 1 kill and getting taken down, I do appreciate and like the fact that Tyloo is finally starting to take some initiative.
Yeah, he took the initiative and he could have definitely got away with more than just 1 frag, but what really seals the round there is Attacker. He's cleared that long cut. He knows it's pretty likely that no one's going to be towards that area after that aggression. And that gives him the space and the freedom to flash over the A side and Benjet to peek from that round area and double up there, which really seals the round for Tyloo. Unfortunately, what is not helping them out is the fact that Extrud's getting picked on the cross by a double scout from 5Power that they've purchased.
Yeah, that's gotta suck, man.
So now 5Power gonna flash over here, just try to take a little bit control in this 5-on-4. Just making Tyloo respect the fact that they can be out middle and they can potentially be putting pressure on these parts of the map here. Smoke needs to be is going to play around Tyloo's rotations a little bit, but it looks like this is what 5Power actually tends to do in this round in particular. But Summer's back flat with the AWP causing havoc.
This could get pretty terrible. Somebody with the AWP on top of the box as well. Be careful. He's going to walk out and Summer way the back of the platform gets 1 kill. Viva with the scout. He's doing a lot of work with that gun. And now Benton alone with 2 players walking in. One gets the 2nd kill. 2 drags back. But Dobu with a beautiful transfer. It's a 1v1 and Dobu not able to land the 1 bullet he needed to shave that 5 HP of Benton, and Benton coming out on top. What a crucial clutch for his team.
And talk about crucial double kills. Bentet doubled up to shut down that A site. He doubled up just there towards the end of that round, as well as finishing off Cabal, or I think it was Dobu in that 1-on-1. To be able to reset the economy of 5Power. So Bentet having all of the impact right now.
He calls, he protects, he attacks, he does everything. By far, finally, the money has been earned. Cabal is just, he's being quite a thorn towards the mid area with the scout. And look at this. Like, if you look at the defense of the B bombs, that just 1 player at somebody.
That's all you need sometimes, though, especially up these eco frags. But Dobu's looking so sharp, picks his head off, and surely this can't be the round that Tyloo loses.
I love that little red like yes, walks out, does do the damage, falls on back, Execute with the AWP, does find one, and the bomb will be planted. This is almost unretakeable. Yeah, they don't have the weaponry, they just have that AUG in the hands of Dobu, but we all know what that man can do. And right now, Bentet's trapped. He hears a player jumping on out. They think it's a safe. Shouts out, give it the scout, finds Execute the tunnel, and that is going to be a round that Tyloo should have won 9 out of 10 times. Unfortunately, 5Power.
Pretty good before it starts, and then making sure that they group up towards the later part of the round to close that one out. Excellent stuff from 5Power, just keeping it nice and simple. They got the pick towards the middle on that B player, and then they just group up towards tunnel and flip through, and oh my god. The scout in combination with the AWP there, picking the player on the cross. It is only a save or a half buy from Tyloo. 5Power off to a bloody good start in this game.
Yeah, indeed. Look like Tyloo were starting to mount their infamous Tyloo comeback.
But you know what's the only thing that can break their streak after they won with pistols? Losing against pistols.
Yeah, that is true. That could happen indeed. Well, for the time being, though, 5Power definitely do have the advantage. And that Cabal, smartly not looking to over-aggressive take the fight. I like this from him. Shows his presence, falls on back, and that's actually forced rotation. Attacker is going to be facing a lot of problem here. He's got a 5-7, peeks on out, free firing on the angle, just finds one though. And Cabal, in the meantime, finding somebody, making things a little bit more miserable for Tyloo. Exker and Bentet, the Indo duo, still alive. They have a scout, they got a couple of CZs. They could potentially do a little bit more, be a little bit more problematic here for 5Power. However, oh, there's an AWP picked up as well by Bentet. This could actually work out. There's just one player side of side. Although we have the help coming in, assistance coming in, but Dobu doesn't need any help, does he? The man is just a madman. Picks up both the frags. They will retrieve the AWP as well. And 5Power 8-4.
So now's Tyloo's chance to make this much more recoverable half. Needs to start here, but once again, 5Power, they built themselves up such a wealth of money that it's going to be taking some pretty clean gun round wins for Tyloo to get back into this half at like a 7-8 scoreline or something like that. They need to keep as many guns up as they can because 5Power's not going to run out of money anytime soon. Tyloo, they do grab this long control. They're going to leave Attacker there once again, and imagine that Bentet's going to make his way back towards CT spawn and try to watch that mid to B area. Nice little one-way. Attacker probably spotted the toes there, or just a bit of a pre-fire in the odd edge of the smoke on Shuadapai, which gives Tyloo the advantage in this round. Now, they're just going to play retake on this catwalk area with Excurate holding on with the AWP towards Car. Attacker again has a flashbang to be able to expend if this short execute comes out for 5Power.
Well, let's see if it does happen though. And this B bomb site exploited time and time again.
Yeah, it's been a lot more successful for 5Power, so you can't really blame them going for B once again. You would have definitely thought Bentet would come away with that angle, but Dobu's been so sharp.
He is channeling his ancestors, just pushing in and getting the kills at will. It's Summer does reply back. Somebody in Summer need to hold it down, and somebody through the smoke finds Viva as well. It's all in Cabal, but he is getting sandwiched. It is complete utter destruction at middle as Cabal would get bodied by Summer, who does survive on 1 HP. And more importantly, they keep 4 players alive, and that's going to keep their money a little bit more. I wouldn't say, I mean, just we have 2 more rounds remaining, but at least if they lose this, they will still be able to eke out a bye in the final round.
Potentially. I don't know, their money's getting very, very shaky over on the side of 5Power.
This time around, the scout is not in play, so no one gets tagged down.
Oh yeah, the good old scout being better than the AWP.
It's insane. Like, I think it was like 5 rounds in a row where people got tagged or taken down by 5Power. But yeah, here we go. Aggression from Tyloo towards the long. And Shuadapai just dancing around. Execute with the op. He's got a train in a tiny little gap, and after showing the presence, they will fall on back. Will they keep a guy in pit is the question. Expert's still floating around. It looks like they're going to give up long, although Attacker has that scope on that AUG train in that direction.
Yeah, so Excurate just threw his smoke down on long, and Attacker has a refresh for that, so it's going to be a while before 5Power can go to that area. Not that they've really been doing it. They've mostly been focused on being centralized in this map control towards mid to B or on catwalk. And again, it's going to be 4 players up catwalk with just Cabal punishing that potential backstab and punishing any lurkers who are going to come up middle and try to retake that A bomb site if they do try to go for this short execute. Again, Excurate expends the Molotov and he walks up on the angle, but he falls down. A missed opportunity there for Tyloo to make it a man advantage situation before the execute comes in. Here it comes, Blair.
I think for a moment the 5Power seemed to have an inkling that he likes doing that, a Molotov, and then the people already come into play, and it's going to be missing shots. I've rarely seen him miss so many shots. Flash is pouring him in the teeth. He's going to peek is the question. He peeks out. Nice shot from him. Finds one. Finds another one. This time around, doesn't go for the flick. Takes the sweet time. And Viva and Cabal left in the 2v4. 17 seconds. The bomb's dropped in no man's land. I think they're just going to go for the save here. Yeah, there's no time remaining. Cabal should be careful. Mr. Somebody is waiting very, very close by indeed. As somebody peeks on out, Cabal goes to the wall, bang, and he wins the duel. It's all on Viva, and he needs to stay alive. This AWP of his is going to be crucial going to the final round of the first half. And to be honest, Billy, considering how solid of a start 5Power had, I think it was 6-0 8-6 isn't too shabby for Tyloo.
It definitely isn't, and it feels like Tyloo are really trying to play some quite tight, like low-risk crossfires a lot of the time, and in a lot of these bomb sites, like the way that they held B, one player, you know, over towards that car, like the stack area, holding the doors and the window, one guy straight under the window, that's something you see from a European team. The way they held A, it's like 5Power trying to force their way out long, but the utility just cutting them in half, and Bahal again just picking Summer on middle, getting the headshot, which is going to give 5Power a chance in this round. Somebody's doing somebody things. He's in the opponent's spawn.
Oh no, but he's pushing on ahead. The B bomb site's empty, Pilly!
What's B? Was that the bomb site I was holding? I'm somebody. I don't remember what happened 10 seconds ago.
This is insane, and he had such a good flank, but they have managed to outflank the flanker, Pilly. This is sheer madness we have here in this matchup. That is just ridiculous.
They gotta hold on to this bomb site with a double AWP, a scout, and a deagle. This is going to be something, Flo, I'll tell you, mate.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Viva and Xiaosage are going to start hitting some nutty shots, but let's see what Tyloo do. They have everything to work with. They have a smoke. They have 2 flashes. They have a nade as well. Nade is going to be sailing in from extra. It's not going to find anyone. If somebody finds that player that is... Oh, there are 2 of them. If he times this right, it could be double straight. And he's going to find one. Getting it the second. Yes, he is. And it's all on Viva. 1v2 now. From a 1v3, can he land a shot? He finds another one. It's a 1v1. Benton versus Viva switches over to the block. Burst fire, one work up, but there's no time. And 5Power stolen around from... I don't know how in God's name that even played out.
Look, somebody unfortunately just forgot where the B bomb site was and thought he had a sick flank, and it must have been some kind of miscommunication.
It was a sick flank, but like there's such a big gap there to abuse it. I've only seen that happen maybe once. Alright, so we all get to the break. I do see if you can send the audio. There's an issue. We'll get to that as well. We'll be right back.
On my own, when you spill that ramen coke on my t-shirt, yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I knew, we were so ready to give in, skin to skin on that baseline. Ooh, you give me that high pitch feel, baby. We shared a cigarette, that is first sight, the way you looked at me, couldn't say goodbye, and whatever you did to make it stop.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of map number 1, the map pick from 5Power, where if you look at the odds, you're like, Tyloo should be winning this with their eyes closed, but that's not been the case, Pilly.
It hasn't been the case. I feel like it's off the back of, you have to really put it down to what it is. 5Power's hitting some ridiculous shots.
Kabal
with the
scout.
With the Deagles, man, like they're just winning some really weird rounds. It's putting their money in some ridiculous places. They had money for most of the half, but Tyloo, with some pretty sensible crossfires, playing some pretty proper CS. I'd never seen these players wide peak so little.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you really can't blame them too much, apart from that one time where somebody just pushed up B all the way.
Oh, he was getting antsy. It's the last round of the half. He's been forced to sit on the B bomb site the entire time. He's like, finally, I'm free. I can run into T-spawn.
That's literally what happened, to be honest. He was literally running away like he got independence from that site. 96 is scoreline. However, 5Power with a 3-round lead, which can easily get taken away by Tyloo if they do manage to win the pistol and the anti-eco.
All right, so Execurate's just with the one set of utility, going to do the exact same thing as 5Power, but difference is they're not going fast for this catwalk control. Just throwing out the Xbox smoke, they're going to be sending these players through lower. Execurate's throwing the flash over the top or out middle to allow Bentet and Fancy to go for some pressure towards that part of the map. So there's that flash through mid doors. You can see that push fever off the line. And Tyloo, they're going to fire a few shots into middle. Now going to go out long with that other flash from Execurate.
Slaughter Pie and Shoutstake will both fall. They, however, do get the opening kill Viva. What can he do? He can do a lot, it seems, by finding Summer, but that's not going to be enough, because now it's a 2v3. Still a viable retake, as both the CTs are going to be coming in from short, where one player is ready and waiting. It is Mr. Bentet, Hansel Goodman, and he will fall to Kabal with a wide peek with a USP. Bomb will get planted. And look at this. Look at what somebody is doing. He's in CD spawn. The bomb isn't really planted for him, though, so he's kind of in a rough spot here if he gets spotted out. But luckily, unfortunately for him, Attacker gets found out. Somebody left in a 1v2 in a very rough spot. He needs to land a shot. He finds Dobu, and it's a 1v1 here, and he's getting hunted down by Kabal. And Kabal from above looking to land a shot and missing everything, but Kabal will not miss that one. The headshot comes in, and 5Power win both the pistol rounds of the map.
They do indeed. Tyloo, I like the strategy from them. The smoke onto Xbox is a flash out mid to see if they can try and get the pick in that part of the map. You really take good enough opportunity or advantage of that flash timing in particular. I feel like if they'd gone out with the flash a little cleaner, they definitely could have picked Viva in middle, which would have made the round a hell of a lot easier. The flash on long wasn't really as effective as it could be, but I think it was the close flash for the doors, so it didn't really push that player off whatsoever. But all things in all, that should have been a Tyloo pistol round. It's just a very, very awkward post plant that they find themselves in with one player towards CT spawn. Usually you want to hold on to those short angles, maybe Car, maybe Sight and Goose or something like that. That's why you don't see too many players go towards CT in the post plant. And now Tyloo just with a bit of a half buy, a couple upgraded pistols to see if they can do some damage to this economy on the side of 5Power. Smoke's over to both sides of mid. Fancy's going to throw this progression smoke out of tunnels, and Execurate's going to have his flashbang ready for them to storm out tunnels while these two players come up mid. This could be a lot of pressure here for Shoutstake and Kabal.
They are trapped inside. You don't want to be in that spot when the pincer comes in. But Kabal, we've seen he's been hitting some really tasty headshots. He finds one, spots the second player, finds extra. Shoutstake in the meantime continuing to be a problem here. But now Kabal's stuck alone. He needs to stay alive, and he does better. He finds one more frag, leaving it all on Attacker with the AUG. But the bomb is dropped right across the door. So for him to pick that up without any utility is going to be a problem. And he spots a Dobu, and Dobu will pluck his head off like a chicken in midair. As 5Power, despite, having both the players stuck in the B bomb site, they managed to make it happen, and all thanks to Mr. Kabal, who has been a really clutch player today.
Yeah, he was holding that right side of the smoke, wasn't giving too many angles for Tyloo to be working with to find him. If they had hit some cleaner pistol entries, that could have been the end of the round. A very scary prospect for 5Power, but they only lose 2 rifles and they come away with things. So all things in all, not too bad. Now Tyloo on the buy. Bit of a slower approach at default from them. Very, very stock standard stuff here thus far. 5Power, they've taken this long control. In general, it has been just a stock standard approach from Tyloo. I've seen them just basically run the normal sort of strategies. Here's the flash for Catwalk. They have taken control of that. So this is the kind of thing that I was talking about. If anybody watched the Lucid Dream and some of the Thai teams play this map, I'm like, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they taking this Catwalk control like you'd see most teams do and just spread out across the map? Well, this is exactly what Tyloo's done perfectly. look at how much damage they've taken. 27 damage across their whole team. They've got catwalk control. They've got pressure on mid. They know no one's pushed the extremities. They're in an extremely favorable scenario. They've even got info that no one's closed mid and that they have to be in CT spawn. This puts 5Power in a really awkward position.
The only person you got to be worried about is the long player over there who's not pushed in. That is Dobu, but he doesn't need to. Perfect counter flash, coming a beautiful counter flash from Shortify. But look at Menta just dropping on down, and he gets the kill. Cabal trying to be cheeky towards the window, but he is going to be left alone, and he's getting pinned at Summer. Mr. Fancy will get the kill. Somebody pushing out, ensuring that his CT is going to have a very rough time retaking. Viva drops straight to his death, and Dobu, the Mongolian player, going to be left alone. He finds one, spots the second player out, swaps over to the AK-47. He's got a couple of flashbangs, no kit, although I do believe one of his teammates should have one. He could probably pick it up. There we go, he picks it up. He's got a smoke as well. Flash is going to be bouncing in. He's going to be pushing it through the smoke. However, he blinds himself at the same time, but luckily for him, he's inside his own smoke. Spots out the first player, leaves ahead, goes for the spray, does a lot of damage, but won't be able to land the kill, as Summer will come to the rescue of Excurate. And that is going to be round 7 for Tyloo.
That was an excellent play from Tyloo. They do their default. They get the catwalk control and make sure no one's pushing the extremities or has extra information over on the side of 5Power. And then you see a pretty normal response from going up against the default in a 2-1-2 setup from 5Power. That B rotator flashes for the CT spawn player who's rotated over from long A earlier in the round. And that player's able to get a pick on someone who's gone out mid from Tyloo. But still, Tyloo, they just execute their game plan. After they get that catwalk control, they use it to drop down into CT spawn and split B, and it works perfectly. And you can see the power of how many sharp aimers that Tyloo have. And when they have a solid game plan and these players know exactly where to look and where to find those frags, they hit those clean headshots. It's a combination of strategy and firepower that is so scary to behold.
Do you think, assuming 5Power will lose this round, which is very likely here, do you think they're going to go for the buy in the next round? The money's not that great for Cabal or Dobu.
I think
1900, I think that's what they're going to get. Yeah.
Yeah, Cabal has a very low amount of cash. I'm not really sure why. I think, yeah, you're probably looking at a situation where you're probably taking a double save on the side of 5Power here. It's going to allow Tyloo to get pretty close in terms of the rounds, but the thing is that 5Power, they're going to have a lot of loss bonus leading up to the later parts of this game, assuming that Tyloo come back into things. And Tyloo, they're not even going to be able to take the lead before that money bonus starts to build up and up and up for 5Power. So it's going to be pretty much as close to as running into a brick wall as Tyloo can get, like just going up against full utility, double orbs, all the AUGs and all that kind of stuff later on in the half.
Yeah, and considering the fact that they still are, I mean, it's going to be 11-8 now, but they still have that 3 or 4 round lead. So for 5Power, they do have the luxury of going for the double eco just to ensure that they have everything to work with. You want the double op setup, you want the 3 AUGs or M4 or maybe a DAC in the mix. You can go for whatever they want. And I think I completely agree with you. I think that's something they should be playing for because they have afforded themselves that luxury by having this pretty decent lead.
Pretty good T side has allowed them to create enough space for themselves to do that. So now you are asking the correct questions, Blair. Cabal and Dobu, not the best cash on those two lads. See what the approach is going to be for 5Power. It is going to be the buy.
Of course.
They don't care.
Yeah, I mean, Cabal is a scout. Let's be honest. That thing's more deadly in his hands than a nuclear bomb at this moment.
Potentially. So Tyloo building themselves up a pretty decent amount of money as well. This time they're going to go for the long control. You can see Benchet throwing the supportive flashes as well as the other players. Fancy entries out, but doesn't quite be able to convert the frag. Regardless though, it feels like Tyloo, they definitely have the advantage there. 5Power, they bit off a bit more than they could chew.
Why would Dobu, he was falling back with his teammate over at A, that's Viva. He was falling back with him. I'm surprised why he continued to, when he went back to take the fight while Viva was already all his way towards A. So questionable decision making. Tyloo, however, after the initial skirmish towards long, will rotate all the way back towards B bomb site.
They will indeed, and with the information that 5Power has that they actually have taken long control over on the side of Tyloo, I'm surprised that none of these players over on the side of 5Power have made a push into middle, have made a push into tunnel. They've all sat so passively, and that's put them in such a bad situation where they have no info, they've lost the man advantage, and at this point in time, it's going to be pretty hard for Tyloo to actually lose this round. So again, some pretty standard stuff from Tyloo. Just a long take and some good decision-making to group up into the late round. Oh my god, look at the scout damage.
Okay, Cabal with the scout. If he landed that, it would have been a triple kill because they was so very low. Was Excurate. Somebody's been tagged down as well. This could actually work out. This could actually work out for 5Power. You were saying, Pilly, you were not believing the fact that Cabal would be able to do anything with the scout. 2 kills and a tag. That's more than what he could have done, to be very honest. And here comes the retake, the 2v2. No flashes, no nades, no Molotovs, no smokes. They have to go in dry. It's going to be hard indeed. They have the op, which is not ideal in this scenario. And Schwaderby with the M4 in the face, he shoots somebody. And Excurate will get taken down 5-0 with the op. 1 bullet is all he needs.
And 5Power, they come away with that ridiculous scout play that Cabal was able to pull off. They're able to pull off the 2-on-2 retake. So that's a great job for them. But in the grand scheme of things, Blair, let's look at it for what it is. 1 alive on the side of the CT side. Their money's still absolutely cooked. They've reduced their loss bonus. Over on the side of Tyloo, that's a bomb plant. They still have enough money to be able to buy into this round. They're looking totally fine. This could be potential for Tyloo to actually come into a very, very strong position into this game. 5Power, if they want to cement their lead and they want to put themselves in a good position to be able to close this one out in particular, then they need a very, very clean round win here where they keep a lot of these guns alive. Looks like someone's probably disconnected though, so we'll have a little bit more time to talk about the potential of these players winning or losing the round.
Have they disconnected?
They're all running around in circles. That's the only explanation I could give.
All right, so we will have a restore coming in. 12-8. I don't think anyone's told that to Bentet yet. I think they're talking. Yeah, now it is, yeah. So it is going to be 12-8. 5Power with a pretty substantial lead, but like you said, money is still not that great, even though they won that round. It came down to 1v1. That op gigs, that op in Viva's hand is of course going to be very crucial. If you look at the rest of them, they have gone for the rifle. The money is in the bin. But then again, that same could be said for Tyloo. However, when you are on a map like Dust2, it's always going to favor the T side when you have lesser money. You can always go for those, explode plays with a CZ or armor. Yeah, the 4 spies are a lot easier for the Ts to convert. That's 100% a point that's worth making. But not only that, it's the case that the CTs need a lot more money than the Ts do on Dust2. In my opinion, you need the money for the AWPs. You need the utility to be able to shut down those B rushes or be able to take that long control, because without it, then the Ts can just bully you out of some pretty key parts of the map and there's nothing you can really do about it. Indeed, you can't right now. We're not too sure what the issue is or which player has disconnected, but hopefully that should get sorted out real quickly. The round is not live. I think they're just waiting for the timer to run out so they can just restore this particular round. But yeah, 12-8. It's still, you would just look at the scoreline and you're like, all right, this looks, definitely favoring 5Power. Bear in mind, look at that money. If Tyloo manage to break this economy, they can easily start mounting the rounds in their favor. Bear in mind, for those of you just tuning in, this is the first game of Group C. For Group C, not number, just Group C, where we have Tyloo, 5Power. And coming up after this, by the way, you have MVP, PK, and VG. So we have a very meaty game for you guys.
Definitely do. Here's the pause. Now we are going to wait and wait, because I want to see the outcome of that last round. It's really going to change the total impact of this game. It's an opportunity for 5Power to actually not slip up and close this map out. And it's been a while since they've actually taken a map off of Tyloo.
It has been, and the last time they faced off against each other, like we said, they did lose pretty convincingly, although Dust2 was not played. Yeah,
that's right. It would have been the 3rd map in the series, and unfortunately 5Power never quite made it there. They picked Inferno after losing Mirage, and obviously Inferno, a map that's not too bad for these Tyloo players there, Blair.
Yeah, pretty good. Although, that being said, I think Vici are a more dangerous team on that map right now. I really do like watching Vici play, which is interesting, right? Because if you look at Vici, taking Freeman and Kazi out of the picture, you have Alman and Zoking, who are very, very inconsistent. But despite that, the way they approach the map, and of course you have Advent, who, let's be honest, is kind of like one of those in-game leaders who really can't frag, who struggles with fragging.
Unless he's playing Fnatic.
Unless he's playing Fnatic, yeah. But yeah, he does do a lot of the tough roles for the team, helping set up his players with flashbangs, support roles and whatnot. But if you look at the lack of firepower that is there in Vici, they still manage to make Inferno, which is a highly tactical map, work in their favor. On the other hand, for Tyloo, yes, they do love playing that map. Yes, they do have a pretty good win record. But if you look at the way Tyloo plays with all these star players they have, I still prefer watching Vici play. It's a way more structured, way more logical approach, one might say, to that particular map.
Well, that might be something that starts to change the more that Jonta has an influence on this Tyloo team in particular. And that is a scary prospect indeed, especially just looking at that round where they got the catwalk control and they ran their actual default. They got all the areas of the map that they needed to, and they were able to execute their strategy. Is there anything scarier than seeing, you know, a team with so much firepower and so much talent? You've got somebody, you've got attacker sending these aggressive Summer as well. Send those 3 aggressive riflers into any sort of situation where they've got support from flashbangs and they know where to look and what to do, and they will click the heads.
Indeed. Honestly, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Look at the names on that team. Everyone. If you take any of these players and put them on any other Asian team, they would be probably the star player of that lineup, right? Attacker, you have Fancy, you have somebody, you have Bented, and you have Excured. And so, on paper, they look really deadly, but right now in the server, 5Power are showing up.
Yeah, and in general, I mean, that a lot of people were saying stuff like this is the kind of super team, kind of dream team lineup, with a lot of these names mentioned that they wanted to see out of a team like Tyloo. But when you look at the results, I mean, you have to say that this Tyloo team has not had as much time to prepare and improve and warm up as the last lineup did. But they haven't quite played up to the level of their old standards when they had Captain Mo and stuff like that in the lineup just yet. Still plenty of time for them to improve and potentially get there though. However, a big way for them to disprove the fact that they actually are up to that level is losing to 5Power here.
Well, let's see what happens though, as we have the round resuming.
I think it is actually 12-8 in favor of 5Power, not 13-8.
It is 12-8 because you can see round 22 written over there, right below. So it's not 13-8 for those of you wondering what happened. It is 12-8, and hopefully that particular graphic will get reset later on.
So with this fast pressure towards middle, it has forced Southsage to actually rotate in towards the CT spawn, and now Tyloo, they're actually fast going up catwalk. They've caught Viva off guard. They've completely out-rotated 5Power in this round in particular, unless Southsage doubles down from the CT spawn position here. 5Power are absolutely screwed, Blair.
Well, they are screwed indeed, and that was a very nice Molotov as well, ensuring that, who was that player down there? I do believe it was Xiaosage, not able to really have an opportunity to get anything done. They should just call for the save here. This is going to be really hard.
And that's the kind of play that when you see coming straight out of a pause, you haven't looked at your monitor properly for a little while, you're sort of floating off into space, and 5 seconds in the round, Tyloo are already out mid, smoking you off, and then quickly going up catwalk while you're still a little bit sleepy, and they've won the round in the first 20 to 30 seconds.
You got to love it, right? Usually when there's like, oh, Dobu being cheeky towards T-spawn, he finds somebody. He was trying to be sneaky. But yeah, as I was saying, if you look at certain rounds where there's a long technical pause or a tactical timeout, you expect the team to go for a slower approach usually, right? And Tyloo's like, all right, we have an unintentional technical pause there. We're going to push short. Just going to push it so very fast. And that catches 5Power the pants down. And that's going to be round number 9 for Tyloo. They slowly but surely are trying to reduce the deficiency here.
They are. So now 5Power, the only money they've really got is what they had saved from the last round. The other players with pretty poor money indeed. Shuadapai and Viva having to go down to those lackluster weaponries, although the scouts have been doing a lot of work for 5Power in this game in particular. Now 5Power trying to take this long control with just a little bit of utility, and they will do so successfully. And you see the shift coming out from Tyloo straight away. They want to go towards mid or catwalk as they have lost long control now. They are going to get it indeed, so this gives a lot of options over towards Tyloo. They can either pressure this middle, they can fake mid to B, they can go up catwalk, they can execute catwalk and go towards A. They can do pretty much anything they set their mind to.
Well, they can, and right now though, we do have this push towards mid coming in. They're going to be going for the very late smoke, going to be going in real fast. Xiaosage with a flashbang, trying to create some havoc. He's going to push in. It looks like he is, but it might be a little too late. An attacker with a beautiful opening shot, and Bentet joins in as they get the kill. And despite the push from Xiaosage, he's not able to do much. It does a bit of damage, however. Now it's a 2v2. Xiaosage just waiting outside the door, Molotov towards the door, and we have Dobu flanking in from the tunnels.
Do indeed. Bit of an overcommittal from somebody to drop into CT and take that fight, but this was looking like an easy one for Execute. What a flash, though. This might give Southsage the kill, but not quite. Fortunately, Dobu falling there as well. So Tyloo, a good round for them to be able to win. Completely resets 5Power, and they are in the driver's seat in this game. You have to say, player, the only thing that you can say, though, for 5Power is that now they've maybe got 2 or 3 loss bonus built up. If they take the single save, they should be able to have a bit of a lackluster buy into the next one. But by the time that Tyloo catches up in terms of rounds, the loss bonus will have built up enough to allow 5Power to go for those orbs or the utility or the orgs and make this game a bit of a banger.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty close indeed. 5Power, like you mentioned, it's going to be 2,400 loss bonus kicking in into the next round. That means all of them can go for a rifle, Kevlar. They won't have helmets, though. They can buy some utility. Ooh, it's a nice tag coming in there on the player. That's Dobu getting the dink, but not able to get the kill. So this is going to be pretty much... Ooh, are they going to check the car? Are they going to check the car? You should check the car. Come on, guys. Come on. There, they check the car. Somebody's going to get the kill. Flawless round for Tyloo. And now 5Power can go for the buy. It is going to be some M4s and AUGs with Kevlar. A few of them won't have any helmets. I don't see an AWP being picked up. And that could be the problem here.
This is a nightmare on Dust2 because you need your utility. This is the kind of round where you need to do an aggressive setup where you maybe like double up towards mid doors and push catwalk at the same time and just try to get in the face of the T's. If you play a straight up round with this kind of a buy, it can get really sticky, especially if Tyloo is well aware how to exploit it and they are good at reading the money. This round in particular though, Tyloo, pressure on middle with 3 players towards tunnel really indicates that they want to go for this B split very, very early on into the piece. They should be well aware that 5Power's money is relatively low and they won't be able to have the Molotovs to be able to slow down this push towards the tunnel. So I really like the approach and the call here from Tyloo. They're going to take catwalk control just to keep things nice and honest over on the side of 5Power. But overall, this mid to B split in the late round, unless Southsage pushes long doors and finds a lot of information, this should be a pretty successful round here for Tyloo.
Indeed. I did imagine they'd go for a faster play because obviously 5Power with the buy and considering the constant long pressure that Tyloo was exerting, they could have assumed 5Power would send a few more players towards long, which is what they've done here. They have 3 players towards long in A and just the 2 players in B mid, completely bereft of any counter-terrorist presence. Well, Shwadapai just shoulder peeking out, trying to spot something.
There's no nades for these CTs here. Like, there's nothing that they can do except frag to stop this B split coming in.
The rotation is taking place, but there is a player to cut off the rotation. That is going to be Mr. Execute, but look at the flank coming in from top mid, and somebody's going to walk on out. He's just going to walk on out. There is a player ready and waiting. Shwadapai doesn't find anything. Somebody finds Cabal, and this is just falling apart for Tyloo. Sorry, for 5Power. As Execute gets a tag in, he's still somehow alive, and he's going to get hunted down. What can he do? He can do that, is what he can do, and he gets both the players, and it's all on Dobu. Execute just... I don't even know how he's alive. He's got some guardian angel up there.
And this is exactly what I said, Blair. Like, they need to go for an aggressive setup with a buy like this. You can't lean back into the late round because you just don't have the utility to be able to do so. And Tyloo played that perfectly. They bled them dry in terms of the utility. They waited it out until the late round, and then they just split B. And these 2 players on the B bomb site just cowering in the corner. Mom, I need a Molotov, please. They don't have the money for it.
My mom would never have given me Molotov. I'm just saying, Pele should have been like, why do you need a Molotov? But the thing is here, Tyloo have won 2 rounds without losing a single player. That is going to be great for their money. Look at that. Look at the amount of cash they have there, Pele. That means even if 5Power, and by the way, this is going to be an eco round, and even if 5Power do manage to win a round, Tyloo just going to buy back into it. And again, this has been a trend we've seen from all these Asian teams so far across this entire week. They have such a fluid, assertive side. Could be the T side, could be the CD side. But when they switch on over to the other side, it's like they're just playing like, you know, so very passively.
Well, I love the approach from Tyloo. They're playing some proper Counter-Strike. There's your favorite thing. Someone getting Zeus. It will be attacker as well. And,
yeah, I'm not going to do the sound effect today.
And,
okay, all right.
Come on, Tyloo. Get it together, lads. Like, we don't want to see you lose against Pistols again.
What do you do against that? What do you do against... Okay, it's happening. It is happening. But guess who's still alive? It is Mr. Bentet. Bentet looking for more. Finds 3 Viva. Picks up the M4. Doesn't have anything to work with, unfortunately, apart from that gun and the Indo duo. Some would call them Polish, but actually the Indonesian will win the clutch.
Nope, I'm the Polish one here. But if I dangle myself upside down, I do belong here in Indonesia, Blair, because the flags are inverted, you know, haha, classic meme. Anyway, now 5Power, they do have the proper buy coming into this one. They've got the double orb set up. They have all the utilities to be able to lean back on. But the problem is with the amount of space they've given Tyloo in this game, now Tyloo have the round advantage. And 5Power, they only have so many more opportunities to be able to make these mistakes. And that's exactly what I said in the last gun round. Huge missed opportunity to be able to sort of get a bit more of an aggressive approach into things. And now, only now that will they have the money to get a proper buy into it. They're going to have a very, very standard setup over on the side of 5Power. The problem is that they are just allowing Tyloo to get the catwalk control to run their default. And they're playing so passively at the moment. And at the moment, it looks like Tyloo, they have the set plays to be able to take advantage of this map control that they're getting, and I'm not sure if 5Power, with the way that they're playing, will be able to defend these kind of plays.
Well, let's see if anything will change at 5Power, but it doesn't look like it, Billy. Look at the setup. It's literally the same setup they've been using all this while, and Tyloo has been using it time and time again. Although, Vivo, oh, you can't miss those. You can't miss those, Vivo. And will he stay alive? He will have fallen off the car. But he's taken so much damage. He does, however, reply back, redeems himself with a beautiful shot. Nice counter utility being thrown by the CTs, and Dobu catches somebody trying to be sneaky there. Fancy still alive. He finds one, and of course we have the Indo God, Bentet, still very much alive with an AK-47 of his, but the bomb is dropped in a very rough spot indeed. With 30 seconds remaining, they have a lot of work to do, and no utility to work with either. So they are clearing out the angles, making sure there's no one flanking them from behind. Problem is, these two players at the A bomb side, I don't think they've seen the bomb, or else they'd have all the three players properly triangulating on this side. Bentet and is going to get taken down, though, and it's all on Mr. Summer with the AWP flick shot to find Dobu. He knows another player there, but Shuadapai with the flank gets the kill, and 5Power tie things up. However, for Tyloo, the money is going to be no problem whatsoever.
Absolutely. All of those rounds that they had so many players alive, they are going to be leaning back on that in terms of the cash, and the wall is up for 5Power. You know, I was doubting the very, very standard setup that they were doing to be able to defend that execute coming in from Tyloo after Tyloo got the catwalk control, but it worked perfectly. And you have to really say that Tyloo, they hadn't gone for that cat execute yet, and as soon as they did, it felt like 5Power had absolutely no problems shutting that down. So maybe the key really here is for Tyloo to go back towards taking that long control before they go back towards catwalk or middle, or alternatively, they can just be smashing that mid to B time and time again. That's worked almost every single time here for Tyloo.
Indeed, like that is something which is a little surprising for me, is 5Power. This is their map pick, by the way. They are supposed to win this one, and if you, I mean, at least they're approaching this map that it is their map. They should be winning this one. The problem is the way they're playing their setup has been very stagnant all this while. Although I say that, but they switch it up a little bit. We do have Shuadapai playing towards mid this time around, the 2-1-2 setup, classic. Shuadapai heading toward the B bomb side to.
I think he's going to get aggressive and look for a pick in towards tunnels, perhaps.
Well, they do have Fancy ready and waiting in case they do feel very adventurous. Again, a little bit of a switch up. The only difference here being Shuadapai towards that mid area, because they are expecting a mid to be play from Tyloo, like you mentioned, Pilly.
Yep, 100%. You are right. The 2-1-2 setup is pretty much a hard read on the fact they think Tyloo is going to go towards this mid to B split. Doesn't look like Tyloo's decided 100% what they want to do, but leaning a little bit more heavily towards this catwalk and long A area. Dobu uses the last little bit of utility that he has, and right now it's just really a question of what's the decision making going to be coming out from Tyloo. If they go towards Cat, Viva needs to hit almost every single shot possible. If they go back towards that mid to B, then they're going to be running into a bit of a brick wall here.
I do believe that 5Power have got the read right. Attacker, though, always aware of where someone might be lurking around. Kabal and Shuadapai, they need to go big here, but they get mowed down. Look at the bodies being just thrown into that B bomb site. Somebody in extra will execute the two B bomb site players, and that's going to leave it to Viva and Dobu to make something happen. But looking at the precarious nature of their economy, they will have to run for the hills.
And it's just a very unimaginative setup from 5Power. Like, it's a good read, and it's nice that they had the players in the correct positions to be able to deal with that split coming in from Tyloo, but there's no second dimension to that setup. It's more or less just, hey, we sit in these pretty good positions, and hopefully Tyloo were able to just hit all the shots on them as they come into the bomb site. But Tyloo's spacing and the angles that they were checking was very, very good. The way that they were approaching, attacking that bomb site was perfect in terms of coming into the right areas at the right times, and that made it impossible for 5Power to hold. They didn't have the utility. They didn't get themselves any information or any semblance of an advantage in the earlier parts of that round, and that, for the most part, not only in that round, but just in general, it feels like Tyloo is being allowed to do whatever the hell they want by 5Power, and they're just going to sit back and say, hey man, sure, you want a mid to B? Sure. You want a catwalk? We'll hold that, but you know, we're not going to win this game if we don't get a bit more assertive, I feel like.
Ooh, Excurate. Eyes of a hawk. This young lad has. Will tag Shwatapie down to 47. 5Power getting a taste of their own medicine. They did kind of terrorize Tyloo early towards the mid-area, and Excurate can see the blood splatter on the truck. He knows someone's been tagged up, who's probably playing towards speed. And again, Tyloo going back to what they've been doing all this while, getting that short control, getting close mid control, taking the time, drawing out the utility from 5Power.
This is the first time Viva's actually gone aggressive up on that Guardian position and tried to get a little bit more assertive and trying to find a pick. So I like the difference, but this time it's just going to be Tyloo going straight for the mid to B right away.
Contact play. Contact play coming in, and Excurate looking the wrong way. He will, however, not be punished. Flashbang's pouring in. This is so good. And look at Attacker. What an absolute nutcase. He finds one, and somebody replies back, but Cabal is doing God's sweet work. He finds two in the B bomb side. Bomb down as well, and somebody now left in a 1v3. He spots out Cabal. Route off a few shots. Cabal will, however, peak, and he will get the quad kill. This man was a turret, and he was instrumental in 5Power winning that one, because that could have gone south very badly.
It definitely could have, and that is exactly right, Blair. It really feels like the difference between 5Power winning and losing rounds is just whether one of them goes absolutely mental and multi-frags in the position that he's sitting in. And that time it was Cabal in the previous round. I think Viva had a good performance on the AWP, shutting down that catwalk execute. So right now, it's pretty much do or die for 5Power. It is frag or get the hell out of the series.
Yeah, which is so different from the way the T-side was. The T-side was so much more impressive, the way they were approaching the map. And then again, we did also say how Tyloo weren't really trying anything crazy. They were playing very defaultish, very safe approach. And
they
it's kind
still
of roles,
are.
They still are, but the roles are reversed right now. And but the unfortunate thing, or rather the fortunate, unfortunate thing for 5Power is the fact that they are relying on some of these players just going off. And once again, it's a Mongolian duo, Dobu and Cabal, sitting on 25-24 frags apiece, that have been the difference maker here for 5Power.
So here's the difference of the setup. They're really expecting Tyloo to go for this long control, it seems, and 4 players over towards this part of the map. But again, Tyloo, just the stock standard map control. A bit more of a passive setup from them this time, as they're expecting for 5Power to probably go for something a little bit more aggressive. And this isn't just another hard read from 5Power. I guess that they feel like Cabal shut down that mid to B play so heavily by getting the 4K that that's good enough to deter Tyloo from not going for this mid to B play anymore. And they might be correct. I mean, if this hard read pays off for the second time in a row, it's going to be pretty impressive, but we'll see.
Could really work out in favor of 5Power. Actually, they might be falling into the trap here, but no. Something is tickling them in their brain and telling them, maybe this could be too little easy. There might be an A stack here, and they will mix things up a little bit. Instead of going like 4 people up short, which is what I thought they'd do, it looks like they're going to be going for the A split here.
And with this setup, it's going to be almost impossible to break Dobu if he gets the frag on this player's coming out. Oh my god, look, Outstage actually moves back towards that catwalk area, which is going to create... Look, oh my god, they're rotating out a long Blair.
Oh my lord, the timing on this, you cannot even make this up. But look at Dobu pushing in. The Executed replies like Xiaosage needs to go big, and he does with finding a double, but the trades go the way of the team. They're not checking the corner. They're not checking the corner, and Shwatapie will punish them for it. And somebody is going to be left alone in the 1v2 with 20 seconds remaining, and Shwatapie, he just needs to stay alive and is trying his best, crouching behind the box. Somebody checks the angle, doesn't know where he is now. He does. He finds one. 10 seconds. He's going to get the bomb done. Cabal with no utility to work with. He's got to push in with the AWP. Rounds off a shot. Not able to find it. Somebody smokes himself off. AK-47 reloads it, and he gets taken down. Cabal with the AK finds him. The smoke wasn't good enough. He spots him at the edge of it, and 5Power to steal the round away, Pilly.
And I mean, why would you expect that guy to be in Goose? You killed 3 players at the A bomb site. It's the 4-man hard read right from the start of the round. All you can see in Tyloo's team chat right now is multiple question marks being spammed by probably all 5 of their players, and you can't really blame them.
They killed 3 people. They're like, all right, the site's empty, and Shwatapie pops out of nowhere like a jack in the box and just mows down both the players. And more importantly, he does such a good job just staying alive while Cabal makes his way towards the bomb site. Alrighty then. Alrighty then.
It's literally the ultimate battle of El Standardo play from Tyloo versus the ultimate gimmicks coming out of 5Power time and time again. Just 10 seconds into the round. All right, 4 stack A.
Well,
and then
to be honest,
cross your fingers, cross your toes.
It was a pretty good read, to be very honest.
It was a read. It was a bit of a gimmicky read, in my opinion, because it's like a read off the back of, hey, I'm Cabal, and I just 4K'd you in the B bomb site. There's no way you lads are going to be coming back here anytime soon. So, I mean, yeah, not too bad. A bit weird. There you go, Cabal. Again, not really someone that I've seen AWP a whole lot, like from time to time, but in this series at the moment, Blair, he seems like he's absolutely on fire.
Everyone is on fire in this game except, I mean, primarily the two Mongolian duo. That is, of course, Cabal and Mr. Dobu. Cabal especially, he has been the wall, one might say, which has saved 5Power so far in this match.
So now they've lost the pick, and Tyloo are going to go back to the Trident tested mid to B. But look, again, the perfect read from 5Power, the 2-1-2 setup, and they should be able to clean up this mid to B fairly quickly unless Tyloo can hit some really sharp entries, Blair.
Look at the setup, dude. Their setup in the last few rounds have been phenomenal. Shwadapai and Dobu, Cabal joins the party. This is falling apart here. It's the Indo duo left, and unfortunately Execute unscopes at the worst time possible. And it's Mr. Bentet himself, Hansel Ferdinand, left in a 1v4, but he will not find more than 2, as Xiaosage will put him to his grave. And that is going to be map 1, the map pick by 5Power, ladies and gentlemen, going the way of the Chinese /